everybody. Welcome to today's edition of the Gamut Network. I almost couldn't believe the story that I read when this guest, Merlyna, wrote into Gamut to ask to be on the show because it is absolutely unbelievable and I cannot wait to share it with you all. So without further ado, Merlyna, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be able to share my story today with all of you.
Well, we are equally as excited. So let's start where we always do. Can you take us back to kind of that pivotal moment in your life that kind of changed the path of your existence?
Absolutely. It's a day I will never forget. I was at Meet the Teacher Night. I was an elementary school principal of a pre-K to fifth grade school with over 650 students. I was welcoming to my families to a new school year. I felt this excruciating pain in my side and I thought, I need to get this checked out. It felt very intense. And on that next day, which was a Tuesday, I did get diagnosed with a kidney stone, something that is very common. And so I was not concerned. I simply said, tell me what I need to do because tomorrow is the first day of school and I cannot miss it. Yes. And that night on Tuesday night, I became violently ill as though I had the worst case of the flu ever. And I wasn't scheduled to see the doctor who would give me my course of treatment until Friday. So I went to the emergency room on Tuesday night. I was sent home and then I only, got sicker as the night progressed. And on Wednesday, I missed that first day of school. I couldn't lift my head off the pillow. Hospital number 2 for more treatment. They could not figure out what was happening and sent me to hospital number 3 by ambulance. There I became critical and needed to go to their main campus. And I arrived at that 4th hospital that week, 30 minutes from dying. Those were the words that I heard from the doctor as I exited the ambulance. That night, my family was told I had a less than 10% chance of surviving the night. And that if I survived, and the word is if, that my life as I knew it would never again be the same. That kidney stone blocked my kidney and an infection was raging in my body. And I was experiencing something called sepsis. And as you can tell, that 10% chance was what they thought, and I beat the odds, and I'm here to still say I proved what's possible. I spent weeks in the intensive care unit with major organ failure and on a ventilator, and then months in the hospital. And then I was sent home because I'd won that first battle, but the war was still raging. I had to literally watch for 9 months because of the sepsis and the treatment needed to save my life. The blood flow to my extremities was also compromised. And so I was sent home, and for 9 months, I watched as my limbs died in front of my eyes. They became hard and almost like concrete. And then I was faced with the fact that I would be having the amputations of both of my hands and both of my legs below the knee. And many people expected that to be the defining moment, where the tragedy that happened in my life would define who I am. But if you really knew me, you knew that was not going to be the defining moment. I fought and clawed my way back from the brink of death and went to therapy not once a day, not twice a day, 3 times a day, because I had one big goal in mind. And that was to return to my school as the principal. And people thought I was crazy. Medical professionals practically said that would be an impossible thing to do, such a demanding job as a quadruple amputee. And I kept thinking, they may feel that way, but I surely do not. My district believed in me and I believed in me. And I wanted to prove everyone who believed in me right, more than wanting to prove those who didn't believe in me wrong. And 2 years to the date of my illness, I didn't just walk back into my school as principal. That would be pretty ordinary, and I'm pretty extra. I danced my way back into that building as principal, and I did not look back, and it was an incredible ride. I went on to win Principal of the Year and then Principal of the Year for our region, and named one of the top 5 principals in the state of Louisiana. I went on to be promoted to executive director, and all of this in the face of people telling me things were impossible. And my journey has been about proving what's possible. And that's sort of the journey that I've been on ever since August of 2007.
Unbelievable. I have a million questions. So one thing that really stood out to me, and that I definitely want to underline for our viewers, is that you wanted to prove them right. I haven't heard that in the almost 150 interviews that I've done. It's always been prove them wrong, that I was going to be the exception. But I love the notion of proving them right, because it's so much more positive, right? You're focusing on what you believe, and what people believed in for you. I just loved that. But can you take us back to, as this was all happening, as you were seeing your limbs die in front of your eyes, mentally, take us back to that place, emotionally, mentally. How did you get through that period?
For me, I made a decision way back in the intensive care unit that first day that I woke up from a medically induced coma after 7 days. I realized then that something was tragic. I had no idea what had happened to me. I didn't even know I had experienced sepsis or that I was in the intensive care unit. I just knew I arrived at a hospital with a kidney stone. And so I remember hearing certain conversations between doctors and nurses, and many times I overheard them saying, "She may not be here in the morning. She's very critical." And when I looked at that clock and realized it was time for my family to arrive and I would be, able to see them, I made a decision that for whatever reason, I was now chosen for a different path, and that I was given a second chance at life. I was really a miracle. I wasn't supposed to be here. And so I decided, that early on in this journey, that I was going to grab hold of everything life had for me. And that if I did not have the right attitude, and that was going to be the difference, that I would not make it. That I remember speaking to thousands of children every day saying, you can't give up, you must persevere, you got to keep getting back up. And now it was my chance to prove that I believed what I said to them and that I could be a living, breathing model for them. So when I got home and I had to go through that excruciating ordeal, it was very, tumultuous in that recovery. But my mind constantly focused on, what do you envision after all of this is over? What do you want your quality of life to be? Many people say it's going to be poor. Many people say it's going to be so different. You've lost your independence. But I kept saying, the person that I am, I have love of life. And so I have got to grab hold of every moment and live in the moment. And I started to say, I'm going to live life on purpose. That means I'm grabbing hold of whatever life brings my way, and I'm spinning it to the positive so that I can stay motivated and inspired, because this is not going to be an easy journey. I didn't have one moment of doubt that I was going to make it. And you see, most people, when something tragic happens, they go to the why me? Why did this have to happen to me? I never once said that. As a matter of fact, I remember telling my family, why not me? Why would I be exempt from hardship in life? I am the perfect person to do this. Who else can do it with style and grace? And so now that's what I'm going to do. So I believe that my strength and my tenacity and my resiliency all kicked in when I needed it, and it brought me through the toughest moments in my life.
I love that. Now, tell us, when you had to have the amputations, do you use prosthetics, or what is your mode of being able to be mobile?
Absolutely. I have prosthetic legs and several sets of prosthetic hands, some that are just silicone that are for cosmetic reasons, and then some myoelectrics that actually are more functional and allow me to do more things. And my prosthetic legs allow me to see the world vertically, just as I always desired when I was laying horizontal for nearly 2 years recovering. So I get through life, and it's incredible when people see me. They have no idea that I'm a quadruple amputee. And I'm always proud to say, a lot of people want to focus only on my disability, and I want them to see my possibilities as well.
I love that. And what hands are you wearing today?
I have none on today. So I'm actually showing what I do at home when I'm here by myself and I need to do some things. That makes it easier for me, and I'm free to do that. So today is just one of those days where I have my legs on that my students named Jack and Jill. They're here with me, and my students named my hands Hansel and Gretel. And so they're taking a break while I enjoy my downtime here at home.
Oh my gosh. Is it like when you get home and you take off your clothes, you put on something comfy, you put your hair up in a bun? Is that what it feels like when you take off your prosthetic?
Absolutely. You know, when you're out there and you're having to use them, at times they can get a little heavy. Sometimes it can be hot or uncomfortable. Not often, but when I get home, I'm ready to take those off and what I say, just be free and be me. So yes, I do enjoy that downtime at home.
I mean, our male viewers won't understand this, but I bet it's kind of like taking off your bra, right? That like moment of yes,
freedom.
Now, I had to ask because I bet this has been an unbelievable impact on your students to view you, especially those that knew you before this happened and those that know you after, of the what this has taught them. Have you had feedback from either the students or parents about, you know, the notion of what you have brought to them in terms of what is possible, in terms of forging through incredibly challenging times in life, and that, you know, everybody comes in all different shapes, sizes, and abilities?
Absolutely. The feedback I received when I returned in 2009 is what brought me to where I am today. I got children sending, who sent me letters daily. They brought them to my office all day long to tell me they were glad I was back. But there were students who were struggling with things. I had a large population of students in my, disabled population that me returning, and I used sometimes an electric wheelchair, it made the environment there more inclusive. It allowed students to see that we're all different, but we need to be celebrated and not just tolerated. I would get letters from students saying, thank you for being so brave, and now I'm able to do this. And I remember one student who missed school frequently because of headaches, and they were very intense. But I remember this one particular awards day that I was handing out awards, and he got perfect attendance. And I said, wow, I'm so proud of you. You made perfect attendance. And he said, yes, I decided I can't stay home when I have a headache, when I know that you're here with all you have to deal with. I need to push through and just do my very best. And, you know, that means so much to me, and I still remember it. I retired in 2016, and can I tell you that I still get letters from my students back then, and several of them have gone into the medical profession because of what they witnessed when I returned. And one is even going to become a prosthetician because he wants to help people who were like me. So, I mean, I think it's the most rewarding thing, and it's the reason I fought so hard to get back in that building. I knew I would have a lasting impact, and it would ripple into the future forever for my students.
No question about that. I mean, I can't even, there just must be countless stories of the impact that this has had on those connected to you, and certainly your student body. I would imagine there was a lot of college application essays written about that, probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. So first of all, if anybody has any questions or want to reach out to you, what is the best way for them to connect to you?
So I have a website, and on there is a contact form, and it can take them directly to me. They can email me there as well, and it is www.shero, Shero, Valentine.net. Someone named me as Shero and decided to do a website for me, and I embraced it and said, you know what, I'm just trying to do the best that I can in this world with the story and message that I have. So SheroValentine.net will take you right to me, and they'll be able to access me. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram at Merlyna Valentine, as well as Twitter.
Perfect, excellent. Now, before we go, I'd love to ask all of my guests one final question about the power of manifestation and a vision board, and putting all of your hopes and dreams and aspirations that you have for the future out there, whether it is on an actual board like I keep beside myself all the time, or it's in your head and your heart. If we got to look on Merlyna's vision board, what would we see?
So it is right by my bed. So I am just like you. I have to look at it every single morning to be able to center myself and focus on the day ahead. On that board, you would see a picture of Oprah Winfrey, and I believe I saw that on yours as well. Because yes, I saw it. I'm very observant. She is on my board because I see myself, I'm an author of 2 books as well. I see myself on her Soulful Sunday, sitting underneath the trees with her and having a discussion about life and how to bounce back, to be resilient, and to be able to persevere and overcome. I also have on that board a huge movie theater screen, because my big dream, my big goal, my big aspiration is for my story and our story of love with my husband, who does my hair and makeup to get me ready every day. And, that's another story within, a whole big dream that I have. I see our story on the big screen. And so I've been doing whatever I can to be able to get my message out. I see me on stages with thousands of people being able to hear my story, my message, and leave there inspired and transformed. So those are 3 of the big things that I have on that vision board that I know will manifest in my life.
I couldn't agree more. There's no doubt that you are going to make that happen. And I feel very lucky to have met you and to have shared this experience with you. So thank you so much for being on the show.
It has been my honor and my pleasure. I am so happy to have had this opportunity. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you. To be on the Gamut Network, please email us at talent@gamutmanagement.com to tell us why you'd be a great guest. Also, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Gamut Network, as well as follow us on social media at Gamut Management. Thank you again so much.
Thank you.
Bye.